Hi, guys. Welcome to this latest installment of the Sons of Pitches. I'm Satyajit. I'll be hosting this episode. And today we will be previewing the Real Madrid versus Chelsea match in the Champions League. It's going to be quite a great game, in my opinion. I think it's a close game, it's anyone's game. And yeah, I'm joined by two fans of the two teams who will discuss the tactics and give their thoughts on how the match will pan out. So let me introduce my first guest, Tridib. How are you doing, Tridib?
Hey Satyajit, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm excited for this game. It's the biggest game of our season so far. But then again, every game now is the biggest game of your season. But yeah, Chelsea is going to be tough. We're already an away goal down, so we need to go there and score. And yeah, I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited, and let's get into it.
Yes, and since you brought up Chelsea, let me introduce our second guest, Manav, who will be speaking on behalf of Chelsea. Manav, how are you?
Hey Satyajit, what's up? I'm good. It would be nice if you asked me to how was my day and how was I doing, but I'm good, yeah. I'm really excited for this match too. It's the biggest game of our season, just like Madrid fans, and yeah, and I don't know. I'm really, really nervous also. I have never seen Chelsea at this stage, and I'm really excited and really nervous about this.
That's right. I don't think Chelsea have made it this far since they eventually actually won the Champions League back in 2012. Anyway,
I'm going to correct you right there, Satyajit. Atletico Madrid 2014 semi-final loss.
oh, okay, that is my mistake.
It's been a long time though, man, since you've been at this stage. I wonder if that could be a problem, but
Okay. Yeah, I mean, definitely it's going to be an interesting game. I think experience definitely matters in these kind of situations. And on that note, Tridib, I would like to ask you first, how important do you think the experience of being in this stage of the tournament is when you are trying to go to the final?
oh man, it's massive. We have in our team, we have like the bulk of our starting 11 at least. They are battle hardened veterans. They have so much of experience playing these kind of games, and even if we were 2-0 or 3-0 down, I'm sure they would have the experience to know what to do, when to do. I'm sure they know that they don't need to sort of get swept away with the excitement that's coming into this game, and they can keep a cool head, and that's what's required in this kind of scenario. You need a cool head, and you need composure, and to be able to convert your chances and really advance. So I have faith in their experience, and that's something that we really have going for us.
Okay, definitely very valid points you brought up there. So I'll go now to Manav. Manav, you have your first season under Tuchel. He came midway in the season. He's taken you to an FA Cup final. He's taken you to a Champions League semi-final, which was looking completely unfathomable a few months ago. How happy are you with his job, and how optimistic are you about your chances in this game?
Oh yeah, this guy definitely knows what he is doing. This guy has it all planned out. The moment he arrived, he knew that the players in this team were struggling. He knew that he had to go. The players who were marked out completely out of the squads under Lampard, like suppose the say of Christensen, or if you say Rudiger or Jorginho, he brought them all back and back on track. And the two Germans, of course, he brought them back on track too, to an extent. Timo Werner still a little off track, but he's doing the job. Yeah, and yeah, I'm very happy with the development under this guy. This guy, I mean, he deserves another contract in my already. If I am Abramovich, I'm already extending his 18-month contract. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
great to
18
hear.
months is pretty short, man. Wow, I thought there'd be like a usual 2-3 year contract, but 18 months is pretty short. That's like a year and a half, not much. But yeah, let's get back to the game. Manav, I'm excited for this, man. I'm so excited for this, and I can't wait to sort of dig into the tactics and pick your brain about what's going to happen and how you guys are going to set up. So let's get into it. What are your predictions for the lineup? How do you think you're going to set up?
Yeah, I've made my predicted lineup right here. I think Edward Mendy is kind of an obvious choice on goal. Uh, I think Thiago Silva, yeah, he's going to be the center of the center backs. Chelsea go with the back five again with two wing backs, And Antoine Rudiger, as Thomas Tuchel was telling, if you already of you saw the press conference, he's going to play with a mask on if he has to, but he is going to start this game. And so does the likes of Anders Christensen, a really, really tall centre back. Didn't do his job in the first game, but yeah, he deserves another chance and he's going to play. I have faith on him. And yeah, I think Aspilicueta and Ben Chilwell, they were rested against Fulham, so they are going to play. I don't know why Ben Chilwell was played for an hour, but I think he starts. He's an obvious choice. Then we come to the midfield too. So this position, we have the likes of Kovacic probably coming back, but I think Kante is absolutely necessary in this sort of a game. He had a banger. He was the man of the match last game, and so he starts again with the likes of Jorginho. He's going to play the ball playing midfielder, and the front three are going to be Pulisic, Mount, and Timo. So I think Timo Werner should start ahead of Kai Havertz, no matter how well Kai Havertz played in the game against Fulham. I think we still should go with Timo Werner because he can exploit the likes of Militao. I mean, he can trouble Militao to no extent with his pace. I don't think Kai Havertz has much on him to trouble Militao at the back, but this guy definitely knows how to make those scintillating runs. He maybe can't finish. We got Mason Mount and Pulisic to do that, and I think Timo starts ahead of Kai Havertz. If he doesn't play this game, I don't. I think we lose him for the entire season. His confidence is absolutely rock bottom right now, and he'll be shattered. So Tuchel should go for him.
Okay, okay. It's interesting that you say that Turbo Timo is gonna bother the likes of Militao. Militao is actually like he's very fast. Like I don't think Timo's Werner is gonna get past him just on speed. I think we have the same with Varane. In case Varane's probably not gonna play because he's injured, but Militao is fast and he's extremely aggressive. So yeah, I'm not seeing you having a lot of luck over there. But yeah, yeah. I think. I think you have other areas to exploit though. So
Right, right. So Shridev, why don't you tell us about your predicted lineup? I mean, you already put it out there. What do you think about this?
yeah, well, I think that we have the bulk of our main 11 back. So Courtois starts in goal, obviously. In defense, Carvajal and Lucas Vasquez are still out, and they're probably not going to be back before next season. So we can count them out. Nacho is versatile, so he gets into the right back slot. Militao, Ramos. Now there's a question mark over Ramos just because he's just returned from injury and he wasn't given any minutes in the weekend game. And so there's still a question mark over him, but the absence of Varane really forces our hand. We have to start Ramos, and his leadership is going to come clutch for us. I hope. Uh, Mendy is back as well. So Ramos and Mendy have been training with the group they started playing today, and they should train tomorrow as well, and they should be good to go with the game. In Modric, in midfield, we have Cruz, Modric, Casemiro. No one's going to displace that. I think Fede might be back if he tests negative tomorrow, but he's probably not going to start. He might come on as an impact sub, but I'm not expecting much there. So on the left, we have Eden Hazard, who starts over Vinicius just because he is a more incisive, intricate player, and there's not a lot of space behind the Chelsea backline for the likes of Vinicius to exploit, like there was against Liverpool, right? Big Ben's obviously starts. There's no doubt about that. And Marco Asensio starts on the right. There's still a question mark about this. There is a possibility that Vinicius starts on the right as well, and he interchanges with the likes of Hazard and switches wings and things like that. But I expect Asensio to start this one and Vinicius to come on as a sub as well. So that's my prediction. But I want to get into some of the tactics here because I want to know how Manav expects Tuchel to set up. Manav, what do you think are the areas that Tuchel exploits on the field? And like, please move around like your players according to that. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think Thomas Tuchel would like to exploit the space in behind Militao and with the likes of Timo Werner, and he's going to make him really uncomfortable during the match. He is not going to leave him alone. He's Militao is Varane is missing, and he's a really crucial player. And I think the space in behind Militao, he's going to go after him. he is gonna go after Militao. No one else on the field, I think Ramos and Mendy are out of the question, and Mason Mount, they'll make it really difficult for Mason Mount. But what I am scared of from Chelsea's point of view, if they start playing the way that they did against FC Porto, if anyone saw that match, we lost the game 1-0. We were trying to play for the nil all, and it just didn't work out. And they got the goal that they, no matter how it came, but it came. And that's what happens usually when you try to soak too much pressure. That's what happens. So, in my opinion, Thomas Tuchel should go for the goal, and but he should defend the way that he has been during the season, but not play the way that he did against FC Porto. Definitely, yeah.
Well, this is interesting because you mentioned the Porto game and the way you got sucked in. So, can you just draw out your formation in that game? I'm assuming you were very deep, so it was probably like something like this, right?
So I guess that in the Porto game, they had already done the job in the first leg. So I think that he had asked Kante, the likes of Kante, to drop back, and I guess he just like it was something of this sort. He went six at the back into a 6-3-1, and they started soaking pressure, and it just came out to bite them again. And Porto, they kept on crossing into the box in behind Thiago Silva, and they eventually got the goal, and which is what I'm scared of. And Karim Benzema, at that level, this man is the one who you want to bet on. This is the guy who is going to get muddied out of this pit hole if they get out of it. That too. No one else at this level you can trust other than Karim Benzema. I'm actually shocked how is he not in the France team, but that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, if there's anyone who's saving Madrid, it's Karim Benzema. And if Chelsea go six at the back, Madrid are going to keep putting balls into the box, and eventually one of them is going to fall to him, and they're going to make Chelsea pay, which is what I'm scared of.
Right.
Timo Werner, I mean, he could have finished it off in the first leg, and he didn't do it. And I think Real Madrid, I don't know. I just have this bad gut feeling that we are going to pay for what we did.
Yeah. So I'm gonna launch into a little bit of a monologue here and sort of discuss the things that you guys did in the first leg that bothered us a little, and then transition into how the second leg, according to my prediction, might pan out, right? So for the second leg, for the first leg, what you had was just imagine that Ramos here is Nacho, and over here we have Odriozola, right? So just imagine that for a second, and we can play out the thing, right? So essentially, what you did in the first leg is that you pressed really well, right? So whenever the ball was shifted out wide, for example, you had you had Mason Mount who has an incredible work ethic. He was pressing Modric, and you had Pulisic and Ben Chilwell gathering up on Asensio over here, right? And Big Ben's used to tried to come here, but you had N'Golo Kante who was here, and you had N'Golo Kante with this massive work rate. And what our play usually is here is that we play the ball into the center forward, and then Modric makes the run here before we play the ball back here, and that's how we break free, right? So when we shifted it out wide, I think Tuchel did some of his homework here. You pressed all of these players, and so we didn't have a good outlet, which meant that we had to do a lot of ball circulation at the back, right? So right back to center back, and then center back to center back, and then back to keeper, and then just a lot of redundant play, right? And you had Jorginho over here as well leading the press, and you had Aspilicueta, and yeah, just something like this, right? And when you did break, you had already had numbers up high, and you had, and since we were playing with a little bit of a high line, Timo Werner, for example, was able to run in behind, and N'Golo Kante was making these deep runs from midfield, and Cruz wasn't being able to catch up with him, right? So Cruz was essentially just moving into the middle, and N'Golo Kante just went past him with those deep runs, right? And that was a problem. And you also had a lot of luck going down the right just because Mendy wasn't there. So you had Mendy. So you had over here, you had Marcelo, who's essentially a black hole in defense, and you had Marcelo caught all the way up, and you had Kante making these runs. Like you had, I'm just gonna draw it out here. You had Kante making these runs here and just like runs like this inside, and then you had these people like Mason Mount just dropping or going forward and linking up, right? And this is something that I don't expect to see much in the second leg, just because we have like arrested Modric, arrested Casemiro, and arrested oops, and arrested Tony Cruz here, right? So what I expect now is this formation that you set up with against Porto. So I expect you to go into an essentially a five-man defense with a double pivot, and you have Pulisic and Timo Werner trying to sort of hit us on the counter. The problem with this is that we have Eden Hazard here who operates in this little space over here. So you have Eden Hazard in this little space, and we have Ferland Mendy making the overlapping runs. And what we're going to see a lot of, and what I expect to is we have Cruz and Modric dictating play in this little area here. If I could just get that. Yeah, yeah. So we have Cruz and Modric operating in this area with Big Benz either dropping to the left wing to link up play or making these late runs into the box to meet those crosses. And we have Asensio here, and it's essentially the same on that wing with Nacho on that side as well. And we have Casemiro as well. Casemiro is going to make these late runs into the box as well to meet a lot of these crosses. So our main mode of attack in this leg is going to be crosses, right? So we're going to have Benzema. So Benzema is either going to move to the left or the right to link up play, and we're going to see a lot of Casemiro going into the box, right? But we also might see the rare Benzema run in, which might be cool to see. Also, a threat from set pieces with the likes of Ramos and Varane might be cool, just because we have that good aerial presence, and that might be something you struggle to deal with. But this is essentially how I see the game planning out. You have Eden Hazard operating in this space, and he is going to come up against the likes of Christensen and Jorginho. Mendy is a battering ram, so defensively, I expect him to shut any Chelsea attack coming down the right side. And offensively, he's not great, but I hope that Eden Hazard and Karim Benzema on this left hand side can link up to good effect to get us that goal that we need. So yeah, that's the end of my long drawn out monologue. Um, yeah. So we're essentially going to see that goal there. But yeah, Manav, go for it, man. This is my tactical setup. How do you expect to go about it?
Look, so yeah, in the crucial player for Chelsea in this game is gonna be Jorginho, right? Madrid are gonna press the hell out of Chelsea high up the field, and he is essentially just like he did in the first leg. Kante making runs, or probably right here, he had loads of space in the first leg. I mean, I was getting goosebumps after goosebumps in every attack with the amount of space that they were creating. I mean, yeah, I know the likes of Casemiro and Modric are gonna press him, and Cruz playing the ball, playing midfielder's role. I think he's going to be the one who has to play his way out of the passing lanes again. And he has to create space for the likes of Mason Mount and Kante. And essentially, Chelsea have to play on the counter. And that is why Timo Werner also plays a big part in this game. Timo Werner and Pulisic, of course. And I also expect Ben Chilwell to come up right here and exploit Nacho. They don't have a natural right back, and so he's gonna dominate this area of the field with Antoine Rudiger. My goodness, what a season he's had, by the way. And he's actually gonna be in charge of Asensio right here. And if we see the likes of Cruz, they are going to be right here in the center of the park, and the likes of Modric are going to attack Chelsea in order to stop them from playing out from the back, which they do very nicely, if we know. So they are going to be right here, and as soon as the ball is played right here to Jorginho, he is going to have to do it as quickly as possible. He's going to take the ball and he's going to play it as fast as possible to either of these two, and Timo Werner when Militao and Ramos move, of course, up front with Mendy too, in order to press. So Timo Werner has to make runs right here, and Kante and Mount have to just play the ball over the top. Yeah, sorry.
Right. Yeah, I expect something along those lines from your gameplay as well. One thing that I disagree with is, I mean, it's not really disagreement as us trying to counter your game plan. It's this idea that Mount and maybe Jorginho are going to have the ball here, and N'Golo Kante is going to make these runs here, right? So he's going to make the runs in here, or he's trying to, okay, that's not it. Or he's trying to go there, right? Now, the issue with this in the first leg was that we didn't have enough to counteract this. So we had Marcelo over here, who was caught all the way up. And Marcelo's at that point in his career that he doesn't even bother to run back, right? So he's just jogging back. But this time we have Mendy, and Mendy, no matter how forward he might be, he will run back, and he's fast and he's strong. And so I wouldn't expect a lot from N'Golo Kante in that regard in this game. Like, this game is going to be very different just because of this man here. But yeah, the space of Timo Werner is going to be important, because Militao and Ramos are basically going to be playing a high line, just because we're going to sort of take the initiative and go for the goal. So we're going to see a formation that's something like this. And you have Big Benz over here, and Casemiro. Casemiro usually doesn't take part in the build-up because he's not great at playing the ball up. So Zidane tries and makes up for it by playing Casemiro in a high role while we're building up, so that he doesn't need to take part, right? And it also gives us a presence up front. So we have Nacho over here. I don't expect Nacho to go up too much, just because he's offensively not that great, and he might be wary of Pulisic's runs behind him. So along this line, right? But it's interesting because Timo Werner here is really important, because if you do get the ball, you're usually going to have the ball in this place, or you're going to have it along with the center backs here. And so your most viable form of attack would be to play the long ball to Werner. And in this case, you play it over here. And Werner makes these runs. So he either runs behind Militao in this direction, or in this direction, to sort of exploit the space here, and explore the space here, right? I think he might have more luck going along this area right here, just because Ramos isn't as fast as Militao. So if I was a Chelsea manager, I'd be looking to exploit the space behind here. But Mendy has good recovery power, so you got to take that into account as well. But yeah, that's my second monologue out of the way. Manav, tell me what you think.
Uh, yes, all right. So I agree with you, but I disagree with you too, because if Real Madrid play the way that you're saying, that they're going to deliver crosses into the box to Karim Benzema, I think they push Sergio Ramos up too, in order to pose more of an aerial threat, and the likes of Casemiro also remain up front, and Nacho essentially drops back. Okay, so and now if you see this, it is Timo Werner raring to go against these two.
Yeah,
Madrid,
but if I can interrupt, like, this wouldn't happen. Like, Ramos wouldn't be going up until it's like 80th. It's like north of 80 minutes. Like,
I
Ramos
mean,
wouldn't be going up. So we'd see Casemiro here instead, and Ramos back here. So like, this
no,
this
no,
is a scenario that wouldn't turn out.
I mean Sergio Ramos, he's hungry for goals. He's always scored in the middle of games. If you see in corner kicks too, he's gonna push right up here and right gonna go and exploit the aerial threat. And this is gonna be when the opportunity is gonna strike for Chelsea. Now Timo Werner is gonna be hungry in order to run back. And that's the point. That's the point. Ramos is going to commit forward on numerous occasions. You're going to see it. So that you might disagree with me, but you're going to see it. Ramos is going to pose threat up front on numerous occasions, and that has to be the time that we have to counter them. He's done it on numerous occasions during the start of the season when he was scoring goals after goals, and if he does it in this game, but I think Zinedine Zidane is too smart for that. But no, they're going to need the goal badly. Until they get it, they're going to keep going for it. No matter, even if they concede, they're going to have to go for the goal.
So you spoke about Ramos going up in for set pieces and stuff, and that's true. Like, he will go up, but in that case, we'll see Militao and Nacho in the box as well for set pieces, right? And you'd have Cruz taking it, for example. You'd have Cruz taking the corner, and Hazard coming for the short corner. This is something we've done a lot. Like, we've played a lot of short corners to Hazard or Modric here, and then played it into the box for the likes of Militao, Nacho, and Ramos, right? So we might do that, but in that case, the people we have back would be Ferland Mendy and probably Marco Asensio, right? Luka Modric operating in the space. We have a lot of threat from set pieces, so that might be something to look out for. But yeah, Sarah, I want to come back to you now, man. Tell me what you think. Tell us what you thought we got right, what you thought we didn't. Tell us your.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not a supporter of either of these teams. I don't really I'm not an avid watcher of either of these teams. But I have one question, and I'll start with Manav. Manav, do you think you will benefit from starting a more natural right wing back in Reece James, given that he is quicker and he has a probably a better recovery space than Aspilicueta, or because you have the away goal advantage, you go with the more defensive fullback in Aspilicueta. What do you think about this? Do you think you start Reece James?
Look, yeah, no, I don't think Reece James is going to start. He is a young lad developing into a goddamn what a footballer, and this is too big a stage. We've seen it. We've seen it on numerous occasions that he just, if an incisive player like Eden Hazard is going past him, he's just going to commit and he's going to give the penalty away, which is why Thomas Tuchel smartly doesn't start him in all games of this stature. I think Aspilicueta has a lot of experience, and I'm gonna go with Aspilicueta. Yeah.
Manav, tell me, let's talk about Aiden Hazard for a minute there. You mentioned him. What do you think? What's the role that he has, given that he only played like 20 minutes of the first leg, and he had like a noticeable impact? What do you think his impact is in the second leg? How do you think is he an improvement over Vinicius? And if he is, in what way is he?
I mean, yeah, Vinicius is effective in only those games where there are tons of space behind the defense line, and Chelsea don't give away a lot of space behind them. So Vinicius is going to be marked out of the game and nullified. And Eden Hazard is a much better prospect in my opinion. He's a much better player in this. He's gonna exploit this area of the pitch and gonna link up with Big Ben's, and he's gonna probably draw a penalty. That's his role. I mean, he's just too quick. He may not got he may be a little nerfed since he came back, but I mean, he still got it, and he's still one of the best players in the world. He's gonna be really crucial, and I'm really scared about it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm looking forward to his return. He played a good game in the weekend against Osasuna. I don't know if you saw that back heel thing that he did, but that was amazing, man. Like he was over here, he was over here, and the defender was over here, and Asensio is here, right? There's no defender here, so just take him out for a minute there, and he's basically facing this direction, right? Hazard is facing the touchline, and Rudiger is like the Osasuna defender, for example, and Asensio is making this run. Wait, let me just get the arrow up here. Asensio is making this run here, and the defender is also going with him. Is actually going towards him here. Hazard manages to backheel the ball on a volley, and he manages to do put the ball through here for Asensio to run onto. But luckily, the center midfielder here was able to cover him. But that would have been like a great goal, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just a small anecdote. So
I mean, yeah, Tuchel is gonna have to look out for this guy. He's gonna give him nightmares if he's gonna start. He's gonna give all the defenders all sorts of nightmares, and he's gonna exploit them. And I wouldn't. Coming back to Satyajit's question, there's no way Reece James starts. There's absolutely no way. He's young blood, and he's gonna be excited, and he's gonna be raring to go, and he's gonna draw a foul, and Hazard is gonna get way more fouls off Reece James, and he's going to get off Aspilicueta. And yeah, he's going to have to find a way to deal with Eden Hazard and Big Benz. Otherwise, it's going to be
it's going to
all sorts of. Otherwise, it could be a long 90 minutes for Chelsea. It's going to be a long 90 minutes for them. Yeah.
Right.
So so let me tell me about this. Just clarify this with me. Are we settled on the fact that we expect to see a lot of Madrid possession and Chelsea sitting back into a low block and trying to hit them on the counter? Is that what you expect to see?
Oh yeah, definitely. Madrid are going to dictate the terms of this game, and they are going to control where the ball goes. That's very unlike Chelsea, but that is what I expect Chelsea to do in this game. They are not going to have. I mean, if Chelsea are a team that can exploit the likes of Manchester City in keeping ball possession, that's how good they are, and that's how many times that they've done it this season. But this game and this stage, Real Madrid, there's no way that Chelsea are going to dominate possession in this game. I mean, there's just no way. And
That's interesting. You mentioned the City game. Like that's a good point because a lot of possession against us would actually hurt us. Like I think the more possession we have, the better we are as a team. So if you are keeping possession as against a team like Manchester City, you might have luck against us in that regard as well. So so yeah, that's actually a good thing. And I'm actually scared that you might actually end up setting up that way, and that could end up hurting us. So yeah, that just want to put that out there.
and that's what Chelsea are going to look to do when it's dire moments of the game. Dire moments. I mean, the last 15 minutes of the game. I mean, the best way to deal with Madrid is that you're going to keep the ball most of the time, which Madrid are obviously not going to allow us to do. But the best way to not get hurt is just to keep the ball. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So let me get this right. So you are worried that the sheer stakes of the game involved will make Chelsea want to retreat and play a more conservative form of football, right? And you're also worried about crosses being put in. And I think that's going to be like our main form of attack. I think we're going to shift the ball out to Mendy here and Asensio out here. I don't expect Nacho to do a lot of crossing, but I expect that we're going to be crossing a lot with Big Ben's inside here and Casemiro making the late run in there. So crossing is going to be our main weapon in this game, and we'll see how this pans out.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be a bloodthirsty game, Hardip.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait, man. It's like the day before the game. It's the hours. It's like sand in an hourglass, man. It's just the slowest thing ever. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Okay, that's all very nice. Thank you both for your in-depth description of how you think Chelsea and Real Madrid are going to line up. So now I'm going to ask you both the obvious questions. I'll start with Shridib, given he's going to be the guest in this game. You know, we should always ask our guests first. How do you think this game is going to end? What do you think is going to be the final score?
Oof, man. This might come back to bite me, but I'm gonna go with a 1-0 Real Madrid with Real Madrid to go through.
Okay. And now, Manav, I'm going to ask you the same question. So, what do you think is going to be the final score in this game?
I mean, if I were to say, it would be a 1-0 Chelsea victory and Chelsea going through.
Yeah, we
Nice.
both we both expect rather cagey games, so I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game.
It's
And
definitely going to be a chess game. This is far
yeah,
from a football game. It's going to be a game of chess. Trust me, Trilip.
yeah, that's a great way to describe it. I think a chess game is the way to go about this. And Zidane against Tuchel, like two baldies on the touchline going at it. Like I can think of no better way to spend my Wednesday night. So
If I may interject, I don't think Tuchel is completely bald yet. I guess the El Baldico is Pep Guardiola versus Zidane, which may be the final. Who knows? We shall see. But right, thank you so much for joining us and and giving your predictions. And also, I'll give my own predictions. I think it's also I think I'm gonna go with Manav. It's gonna be a home game. I think the home advantage is gonna come in, and I think it's going to be a 1-0 win to Chelsea as well. So sorry, Tridip, but that's what I feel.
oh,
And
sorry,
now,
you're gonna regret that, man. You're gonna
and
regret that.
I may well regret it. I don't know. So I'll now come in with a hidden guest. I think Zohair, who's been with us from behind the scenes. Say hi, Zohair.
Hello, guys.
Right. Zohair, what do you think? How do you think the game's gonna end today?
Man, before I get into that, can I just say what a great pod. I really had fun this podcast with, Tridip drawing all the lines, going into in-depth tactical analysis. I mean, man, why don't they hire you? Zidane should seriously consider hiring you as his tactical
I
analyst.
know, right? It's like I've sent them emails, but I just can't seem to get a reply, man. It's tough. It's tough. And but
Man.
hey, I can't wait for your wacky ass prediction, by the way. I'm sure it's going to be something insane, something out of
Hey, no pot shots. Uh, but hey, United did beat Roma 6-2, and if I had said that in a podcast, you would have laughed at me. But well, look, it happens. So yeah, I'm gonna go with, to balance things out. I'm going to go with 2-1 Real Madrid, and Madrid go through.
Oof. Okay. That's interesting. So Zohair's prediction.
Bombshell. Oof.
You've known me how long, and you don't know the spelling of my name?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't think, if I may interject, I don't think we can count out the possibility of the game maybe going into extra time as well.
Yeah,
It's possible. It's
for
definitely possible. But yeah, I think these are very fair predictions. I think we'll stick with these as our final predictions. So yeah, I mean, I hope this game lives up to its hype and we get to see some good football. And I think this is a good place to end it. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll try to come up with some more interesting content. So thank you for joining us. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.